What's going on, YouTube? It's Rai here, and in this Battlefield Hardline video, I'm going to be going over my first initial 10 hours or so of gameplay that I got to experience with Battlefield Hardline through the Xbox One and EA's Access system, their early access deal that you can get. So I went ahead and signed up for EA Access. It was $5 a month. I haven't yet tried it out or anything, so I thought, good time to try it out. I get to play my favorite series, my favorite games, the Battlefield games ahead of time, as well as get discounts on certain things and other games, and give it an experience at least for a month trial. So I figured good time to spend $5, get a trial, get a little head start on the game, and also that way I can, if I notice anything or any differences between the game and the beta or this and Battlefield 4, then I can kind of point that out to you guys maybe that are waiting for Tuesday when the game releases. So I went ahead and played through at this point about almost 6 hours of the trial, and I got some information for you. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so what does this trial give you? First of all, it gives you 10 hours from the time you start the game till the time you quit it. That's the countdown timer on it. So the first thing I want to say is, if you currently are in the EA Access and you have some time that you're playing on this trial, don't make sure you quit out of the game if you're going to leave it. Don't just back out, go to your home screen and open up something else like another game or Netflix or something like that, because the game will still be on running in the background, still be eating up time on that 10-hour trial. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and, if you're going to back out of the game, shut the game off, make sure you quit out of it, or just power off your system completely so it's not running in the background eating up that time. That way you can utilize the time as best you can. So you get 10 hours. Well, what does that 10 hours entail? What's unlocked? The full campaign is not unlocked in this trial period. Only the first campaign mission is unlocked in the trial. Now that's okay for me. I am basically saving any campaign missions for when the full game releases. I wanted to use this 10 hours to really get a jump on the multiplayer and unlock some weapons and earn some cash and unlock some, just get my multiplayer started going here. So that's really what I was utilizing my time for. Now the benefit of that is the multiplayer fully unlocked. Everything is available. All the game modes, all the weapons, the assignments, all that's available for you to go ahead and choose what you want to unlock and choose what game modes you want to play, and nothing is held back, nothing is kept from you. For example, you see in these clips I have the M16A3 that I got from was my first gun purchase. So it's all available for you right off the bat with the multiplayer, which is nice. Now another nice thing about it is anything you've unlocked in the multiplayer is carrying over to the full version of the game. This is the final build of the game. This is what you will see come Tuesday here when the game releases and you're able to play it. Whether you have it preloaded on your system, whether you bought a disc-based cut, whatever it is, this is what you're going to see. So it's the representation is the final game, meaning that it's all going to transfer over. Anything I've unlocked, any money carries over, my stats carry over, all that stuff carries over to the full-fledged game. That's basically what you're getting with this EA Access. It's 10 hours of gameplay that you get to go in and just do what you want with, and it does carry over. Okay, so what are some of the differences from the beta? Maybe some of the most glaring ones that I noticed. Well, the first one is that guns aren't cheap. It just seems like the stuff is more expensive than it was in the beta. I didn't go back through and look at my beta footage to see what any stats were or anything like that, but I can tell you just basically from my instinct that everything costs a little bit more, and it makes sense. In the beta, they want people to unlock stuff. They want people to experience the games, the gadgets, the guns, the different things you have to unlock. They don't want you to take too much time to work at unlocking it. So maybe they basically increase the amount of money you earn for things or make things cheaper. That way you can go ahead and unlock it faster. Well, this being the full-fledged version of the game, it's back to earning it how they had originally, thought you would earn it and how they originally drew it out. And now you actually have to spend a little bit more time to unlock things like an M16 or something like that. I think the M416, the M416 that I unlocked for the criminals was, I think, upwards of like $46,000 or $47,000, which again, I don't know the exact amount that it was in the beta, but I know that's pretty expensive and cost me a lot of money. However, things like one of the AKs that you can buy was like $12,000. So again, I could be wrong. I could just be blowing smoke. It just feels like to me like it takes a little bit longer to get enough money to unlock these things. Now the next thing I noticed is that not all modes are available with all maps. Now again, I could be wrong, I might be mistaken on this, but from what I was kind of gathering when I was doing some server browser searches, is that a map like the Block, which is this map here, small map, close quarters, very tight, in close combat type of CQB stuff, you don't have a conquest, large game mode on this map, which makes sense. Some of the maps are going to have, bigger maps that cater to that game mode. Well, this one isn't. Most of the part, I could tell it was mostly heist and the Team Deathmatch servers were available on the Block. And I think Team Deathmatch was about 44 players, which is still pretty good. In a map this size, 44 players is going to feel like 64 players on a lot of other maps. But I did notice that. So you're not going to have every game mode available with every map, I'm guessing. But that doesn't mean that it's not playable or not fun. I did have a lot of fun playing some of these maps and playing the different game modes and things like that. And I'll get into that a little bit later. And one of the next things I noticed was it seemed like fewer battle packs. You leveled up, from what I can tell, at the same rate. Just in like the first 5 or 6 hours now, I'm already at almost to level 13. But I've only opened one battle pack based on a level up, maybe one or two. So, whereas in the beta it seemed like I was opening up battle packs frequently. So again, maybe because in the beta they were trying to kind of get you hooked in, get you seeing how the systems were working, and so they wanted to kind of flood the game with that type of stuff. Whereas now in the full-fledged version of the game, you're seeing fewer of these things. So I just noticed that I'm not getting as many battle packs. And that's something you want to be wary of, that when the game actually releases, you get your hands on it. Hey, why am I'm not getting as many battle packs? Well, difference between the beta and the real version, I guess. Also, it looks like some of the weapons may have been tweaked. I can't, again, confirm this as being 100% true accurate. That starting weapon, the RO933 or whatever it is that you get, that starting operator carbine, seems to do a ton more damage and be a lot more viable on the battlefield now than it was, I believe, in the beta. And as well as the stun gun. I don't know for sure, but I'm hearing people say that the stun gun has a little more increased range on it now and works a little better. So again, there's going to be weapon tweaks maybe than from what we saw in the beta. So if you had a favorite gun in the beta, you might go in there now thinking, you know what, it doesn't do it for me as much, or maybe it feels differently. Well, again, because they probably took that information from the betas and just decided to go ahead and have a tweak on it, and that's what they did. So that is one thing I noticed as well. Now again, this is just the stuff we know for now, and a lot of this stuff, again, I don't have any solid concrete evidence that it's this way. It's just my initial impressions of the game. But I'm sure as people unlock more stuff and unlock more parts of the game and really dig into it a little bit more over this next couple weeks here, we'll find out more and know for sure what has changed and what hasn't changed. So what issues did I notice within the gameplay? Well, not much. There were some audio issues I noticed, the occasional lost sound. Some sounds were working while others didn't. For example, I got into a game where I heard my gunshots but really nothing else, or I'd hear, scattered sounds here but not the full audio sound of what's going on in the map, which, could make it difficult if someone behind you is shooting at you and you're not noticing they're shooting at you because you can't hear them. But again, those hiccups you kind of see early on in the game when it's released and launched. I've only seen it maybe twice out of all the matches I've played thus far. It happened to me. I'm sure it's stuff that they will work out and work through. But it's just one of the things I noticed. I have noticed some delays in some parts. You could call it lag, I guess. I haven't noticed it to where all of a sudden the game lags out and I'm, rubber banding all over the place or clipping all over the place or any of those issues. But more so that, I'd shoot a grenade launcher at a passing car. I'd blow up the car. I'd get the hit, but it doesn't register on my screen. I don't see the explosion in the kill feed for a while after. At least a delay to where it's noticeable. So I'm sure, again, that's stuff that's going to be fixed. And again, watching some of the Twitch streams, you can see some people that are also having issues with delay and things like that. I will say that I feel like the netcode runs pretty well. The registration of bullets when you're shooting down your sights or shooting at an enemy, you get kind of a pretty good initial feedback that your shots are hitting. I haven't really had much of a problem with that, but I will also notice those old, frostbite problems where you're rounding a corner and suddenly you're shot and dead, and it shows on the kill cam where the guy shot you, and he had no possible way of shooting you from there because, again, a netcode issue where you've rounded a corner on your screen, but on his screen, he can still see you and he still has line of sight. So I hope this doesn't become a huge issue with the game. I don't feel it's as bad as it was in Battlefield 4 as far as my initial playtesting is concerned, but it is something I did notice that does pop up from time to time. Okay, so that being said, what are some of the things I love about the game? One of the things I love about Battlefield Hardline is the game modes, and what I mean by that is the newer game modes they're introducing, like Blood Money and Heist, and even Team Deathmatch, which I know it's not a newer game mode, but in Battlefield, having a higher player count, which now they have up to, you know, on the block, for example, we're playing with 44 players. It's just more full and fun, and just a better experience overall, and it's kind of neat seeing Visceral, you know, put their twist on some old game mechanics and old game ideas. For example, Blood Money and Heist, I mean, fantastic. They knocked it out of the park with these. In Battlefield 4, I really just ended up playing Conquest and Team Deathmatch and Domination, and really that was it. I never strayed into the Obliteration or played too much Rush. I know a lot of people did. I was never a fan of them. I was never a fan of really those game types. I tried playing them, but really just kind of those fell off of me and didn't stick with me. In my initial playing of Blood Money and Heist, I really kind of fell in love with it and played it and just enjoyed it and said, I want to go play that again. They're great new kind of ideas on some old gameplay mechanics and how to play some old thing. You're not playing Capture the Flag, you know, anymore. It's a different version of that maybe, or a different version of like a standard offensive defensive type game, and you know, really enjoyable. Now, I did not play the esports, you know, single elimination style of games, Rescue or Crosshair. I usually am not into those types of game types, but just the fact that they're in there is going to be great. Now, they were available in the trial for people to play. However, they weren't, you know, for example, I saw them available to play, but I didn't have premium. I didn't try playing them, so I don't know if they're going to change that or not. I know that's been a big bone of contention with people, and I think they should allow those game types to be played by anybody who buys the game. I don't think that should be premium only. So hopefully they'll make the right decision there. But I'm sure those game types as well, from what I've seen guys on Twitch playing them and stuff like that, are really enjoyable for those the people in the crowd that like that too, that esports competitive crowd that maybe wants a single elimination game like that. So it's nice seeing that they're doing these things and putting some new twists into the game. Makes it feel fresh, makes it feel like I'm not just going to be playing Conquest on Battlefield Hardline. Last thing I want to talk about here is the maps. I feel like the maps are very dynamic. Now, while not everything is completely destructible, and I don't think, at least in the near future, we're ever going to get back to the Battlefield Bad Company 2 destruction style gameplay that we had before, but there is a lot of destruction on a lot of these maps, and there's also a lot more than that. There's excellent lighting elements. You know, for example, Hollywood Heights is a great looking map with different types of, you know, dark corners you can sit in, and also it's bright enough in certain areas, and you know, there's helicopter spotlights going over certain parts of the map on the Grow House map, and when that in the Grow House underneath, when it catches on fire and it's just smoky everywhere, it's hard to see and it's blinding. Some of the maps have really great lighting effects. Some of them have great weather effects. There's lots of Levolution events with a lot of these maps that are just fun, and it just makes the maps feel like more like it's a real living world kind of thing, rather than just a stagnant, stale map, which is what you get in a lot of games. They just kind of paste on a map with some good stuff. The thing I like about these maps is that they don't feel stale or stagnant. They feel like they really have some dynamicness to them that makes them feel like I'm in a living world rather than just a video game map. So that's one of the things I noticed that I thought you guys might enjoy as well. Well, guys, that's all the time I have for now. I hope you enjoyed this Battlefield Hardline Early Access video I put together. Please be sure to hit like and subscribe, leave me any comments, and if you've had a chance to play it, tell me what you think. I'd love to hear what you guys think. And until next time, guys, it's Rai. Take care.